Hello and welcome to Portman Road. This sound indicates an important announcement.
Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to Talking Town Extra Time, the show that grew from yesterday because it got so big. Some of you wanted to come on and have your say that I've put it onto a Monday night, and the club have never failed to give us anything to talk about. Every time I think, right, this Monday, would it be a bit more quieter, I wonder? And then the club or something or somebody drops something and all hell kind of breaks loose. And as always, I'm glad you are all here with us to pull it apart and unpack it. And there's sort of two camps, isn't there? There's camp TWTD and camp sort of athletic, really, looking at sort of the tweets on the timeline tonight. So where are we on this takeover? Is it happening? Isn't it happening? I'd love to hear from you guys and girls out there in the chat. Stuart, welcome in, my man. Cruncher, yes, we are. We are 37 away from 2,000 subscribers. 37. Big push tonight, guys. We can do that. Alex Wilson. Go on, Sid. Yes, Sid's making his debut tonight. Emerson Ferrer, I received my TT hoodie today. Can highly recommend. Yes, it certainly is a beautiful thing and it keeps you nice and warm. My heating bill's gone down considerably. Well, I'll just stop turning it on. I mean, the wife's got 3 coats on, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. To Lee Anderson, no, we won't be doing Carnage blankety blank tonight. Don't worry, Sid. You're safe. It's okay. So who's with me tonight? Well, first of all, if you're gonna, don't come here if you don't come heavy.
But we got the job done. We got the job
Absolutely.
done. We're top of the league. I was saying earlier that all the other teams need to win.
Top of the league, Sam. Top of the league. Look.
Yeah, that's aged well. Martin, I've got one question and one question only. I'd like a young Tubes. That intro right at the start of the show. Who's sponsoring that? BCM Magaluf or
BCM Magaluf? Yes.
Well, straight off their playlist, mate.
Magaluf, please. It's Iron Napa, my friend. Iron Napa is the only party capital in the world.
Amateur holidays. Magaluf only.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The Cruncher says, nicely they're done on time. Not only was he on time, he was early. He caught me by surprise. But we thought, look, takeover news, we need the big guns out tonight. So we brought you in. You know, you can't have any more of a big gun than the Don, the Dapper Don. Here he is. Are you ready to discuss some Ipswich Town football, my friend?
No, we never discussed Ipswich Town football. It's all the gossip round it, is it? Football's just a side
Right,
order. It's the garlic bread to your roast, isn't it? The bag.
Michael Finch, they said the takeover is stalled, and the next line they said it's off. It's almost like they don't know. James Reed, Evans is waiting to see which league we're in at the end of the season. He can ask for more money from the Championship. Well, that's a good point. That's a good theory. We'll unpack that at some point. Let's bring in our second guest. He is making his fourth appearance. So he does earn an introduction. He is, if you're the Don, he's your Caporegimo. Thrown together last minute. As I said to you, off the air, Mr. Tuxford, welcome in, my man. Peeky himself. How you doing?
Good evening. Yes, I thought that it actually felt a little bit like Matthew Kelly on Stars in Their Eyes there, that smoke.
There you go, you see. There you go.
Is he actually live in that video, which is why he's outside in the dark? Or
Absolutely. I was going for the whole Peeky Blinder, in the shadows, going for that vibe. 20 minutes that took me to come up with that. Maybe I'll go back to the drawing board. I don't know. But Mark, exciting things happening again for a Monday night show. We've got the takeover news. We've got Cole Skuse saying the haters are fueling him. You're welcome, Cole. It's all going on at Portman Road. It's exciting times, right? Either way.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever boring, Ipswich, is it? It's a club that has always got some sort of controversy, some sort of news coming out of it. But yeah, I think with the takeover sort of stuff, it has been going on quite a while now. But yeah, we just want to get it over the line now. I think, obviously, as you said before, Martin, it's one of these sort of things where I think it's come out a bit early. They probably didn't want it to come out as early, but now it's out. Stuff needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, let's bring Sid in. Sid, it's your first appearance. It's a debut. You're going to get longer than most debuts get, to start off with, longer than 10 minutes, that's for sure. Welcome in. Sid, how you doing?
Good evening. How are we?
Good evening, sir. We are very well. First of all, let's kick things off the right way. Sid, my brother, during World War II, ate nothing but wow meat. The only problem is, everywhere he goes, he keeps blank. What's he keep doing, Sid?
I'm still clueless to this day, honestly.
Jesus, Sid, I love you, man. I love you. So, takeover. Let's just kick things off there, get it out of the way. It may be the biggest topic we unpack. So let's jump to what we do know. We had Matt Slater on a couple of weeks ago, American Consortium, looking to buy the club from Marcus Evans. Then it all went a bit quiet. And then today we've had Phil Ham say on TWTD, and I want to try and get this right if I can, so just bear with me a moment. But basically the takeover is stalling, if not off. Where do you stand on that then, Rob? Takeover stalling, if not off. And then Matt Slater on Twitter saying sort of news to him.
That sounds like us trying to sign a player, doesn't it? It's on, then it's off, then it's off, then it's on, and then it stalls at the last second and nothing happens till the next window. I don't know. I'm a bit tired of talking about it without it happening, really, because in the end, I think just said it was the info sort of came out so early that sort of, we've all got really excited. Everyone's got American flags in their bio and so on and so on. And it's all really just still rumours, isn't it, really? I know it's there's corroborating stories and so on and so on. But
it's not a rumour anymore, though, is it, Mark? It's not a rumour because Marcus Evans only a month ago was telling us, offer? What offer? There's no offer. And then today, the worst kept secret in the world is that only is there an offer, but apparently it's stalling. Who's the PR communication officer at Marcus Evans Towers? Because they're not doing their job well enough.
Well, they should have kept Paul Lamb for the old PR stuff, shouldn't they, really? I think it's I don't know. For me, it's just dragging on too long now. And you've got the camp that says that it's kind of stalled, it might not happen, and then you've got the Athletic that's obviously reporting it's still going on. But I think there's too much. It's not rumours anymore, is it? There's too much that's gone on for me for us fans to sort of ignore that. But with Evans and anyone in that club, they're not going to tell you what's going on until contracts are signed, agreements are in place, and all that sort of stuff. So as much as Evans will say, we haven't had an offer, or we haven't had this, we haven't had that. I think we know now as fans that we cannot trust a word that comes out of Marcus Evans's mouth. But for the good of the fans, for the good of the club, even for the good of bloody Marcus Evans, he needs to sell up and accept offers. At the end of the day, he was the one who said that if he gets a decent offer come in, he'll accept it and he'll walk away, or at least step aside from the club, and let these new owners take fold. So I don't know what's going on really. It must be down to some sort of money. And there's a comment earlier about what type of league we might be in. We might be in League One. We might even be in the Championship. Who knows? But he might be holding out for that. Who knows?
If he is
what I was going to say, which I missed off the end of my point, sorry, was that we don't really know if it's actually down to Evans or whether it's down to the new guys. We're all presuming that Evans is the one stalling, holding up a deal. But what's to say it's not money from their side, some delay from their side? It could well be that they don't want to buy the club unless we're in the Championship, or who knows? It might not be as simple as Marcus Evans is just putting a spanner in the works to pass the time.
It sounds to me that Evans is actually potentially up the asking price. Potentially.
We're in a better position now. I know it's only been a few weeks, but
this is it. And
is Evans going forward?
Is Evans playing a dangerous game there, Sid? Because yes, if you're in the Championship, you can sell the club for more money, but you've still got to have a football club that somebody wants to buy. Right now, there's people wanting to buy Ipswich Town Football Club. As Matt Slater said in response to, I think, a Wigan tweet about them being sold just recently, there's 30 other clubs available to buy. Just because, if the price goes up, your investment alters. It's a dangerous game he's playing, right? By possibly playing that Russian roulette of promotion or not.
I'd say we're more marketable to an investor at the moment because the club's obviously going to be worth less. So they'll see more profit should we get promoted.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So if we're in the Championship, it's going to cost them more money to buy us in the first place, and they're not going to make as much money.
Yeah.
Because that's all they're going to want to do, I think, is just buy the club, have it for 5-10 years, sell it on for more money.
And I've got absolutely no problem with that. Because they'll be ambitious, they'll be ruthless at points, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's a dangerous game, Tux. That if he is playing that sort of Russian roulette with, well, it could be worth more in a few months. Yeah, it could, but someone's got to want to buy it.
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, he's playing a dangerous game with the fans at the end of the day because worst case scenario, if he doesn't sell the club, he's going to have so many fans on his back. And if he thought that the Paul Lambert protest was something, then I don't know. I wouldn't like to see Portman Road win this takeovers and go through.
Absolutely. Julian Roll stumbled across this site, loving it. Town fan for 40 years, living in enemy territory. Julian, we are all with you, my friend. Loving the chat, subscribed. Good man. Let's bring George in. George, what do you make of this recent development in the takeover saga, I'll call it? Oh, he's that passionate about it, is George.
That's a mic drop right there, isn't it?
It's just boom. Stuart, I'll bring Stuart in. Stuart, what do you make of it?
What's going on? That's what I want to know. Because it's 1 minute this, then the next is that, and there's this and that, and it's just confusing.
Well, what do you want to happen, Stuart?
I want the takeovers to happen. That's what I want.
Okay. Yeah. So, Luke Penning here, Stuart. How would you feel if Evans is still here next season with the transfer window to overcome? How would you feel if, regardless of what league we're in, Marcus Evans is here for a summer transfer window?
No hope.
No hope. Don.
Bob Hope.
No hope.
None.
Do you agree with that, Rob?
It's just we know exactly what it'll be like if he's here because we've been through it year after year, after summer, after January. It's just a couple of months in the calendar when the transfer window's open for us, isn't it? We sign a couple of players on freeze. You give Skuse an extension, job done, boys.
Yeah, Skuse an extension. We'll sign the next power couple. There they are.
Them
We'll
two would be
sign
better
them
in
now.
Love Island, wouldn't they?
Probably, well, possibly so. David Hughes, it's not happening. Evans will still be here next season. I've accepted that now. DM123, we're going to have to sign a load of players if we don't extend some contracts. Yeah, but they're not worth extending the contract. Let's be absolutely honest. All right, Tux, I'll paint you something here, and you can tell me if you, because you're an intelligent guy, you've written for the press and everything. What if this is narrative building from Marcus Evans? Because his last statement was there is no offer. There is no offer. We all know that's a lot not true, but let's go with that. Suddenly, it's not only was there an offer, but it's stalling. What if this was a narrative in the sense of the next article is talks resume, then there's a sale. Marcus can say they came back to me, made it more appealing for the football club. And I've always said, if somebody can lead this club better than I can, I'll step aside. Suddenly, he looks a bit more of a hero.
Well, yes and no. I mean, at the end of the day, since he's been at this club, there's been next to no success, is there really? I mean, what has he delivered apart from, the 14-15 season? But we all sat there on Boxing Day, Brentford away, saying invest in the club, invest in the squad. But there was nothing, was there? There was nothing there. And like Don said, each summer, each January transfer window, whatever it is, it's always the same old stuff. We're making budget signings. We're signing has-beens, really. We don't have any plan there. There's nothing there, is there? There's nothing to get excited
like never
about.
Was.
There's nothing to get excited about. That's the problem. There's nothing to get excited about. And that's the whole thing about Marcus Evans, and that's why he needs to walk away, and that's why he needs to step aside. Keep your 5%, keep your training ground, do what you like, but put the club in some hands that actually want to be ambitious, that want to take this club forward, and want to give the club back to the fans. This club is a complete joke to a fan that doesn't support this club, like a Norwich or Cole United or whoever else. They're sitting there thinking, they're a big club, but they're in League One. Where are they going? There's no plan there, is there? And all these fans that said a couple of years ago, oh, we should get relegated because then we'll go straight back up and do a Norwich. That was never, ever going to happen because we are not a well-run club.
No, and we never will be while certain hands have control over certain aspects of the football club. George, are you back with us?
Hello.
Hello, George. What do you make of it all?
I think that the takeover still could happen, but I'm not sure if it might be at the end of the season when they know what league we're in.
The problem is no buyers. I would have thought Sid would wait around that long. Like you're not going to sit and be held. I want to say to ransom, but probably a bit strong. But you're not going to sit around for Marcus to decide he's going to sell the football club, are you?
Surely, if they wait around to the end of the season, it's going to cost them more money. Marcus will go, sod you 30 million, I want 50, for example.
Yeah, and other sellable assets in League 1 and 2, they're you're behind the process in them, aren't you, Rob? I see George's point now. I just don't. I think it's now or never, and I think maybe both sides are feeling that here.
I think they're trying to play each other off. One's trying to get it cheaper, one's trying to get it more expensive because we've won a few games and changed manager, and all of a sudden we're on the rise. I just think Marcus Evans can see his green shoots again, and green shoots for him increases the price, and that's probably where, if there's ever been a deal, that's probably where the negotiations now are at, somewhere in between A and B.
This is classic Ipswich, though, isn't it? It's you get so far and you get to a position where you get excited and then they absolutely bottle it. This is what this club is all about.
That little bit of hope.
You get in the semi-finals of the playoffs against West Ham. You get to the point and you think, oh, we're going to get somewhere. We were top at Christmas in that season when Cucci got injured against QPR and Watford. Right, we were top at Christmas. We've completely bottled it. We should have gone up that year. 2014-15 season should have gone up, bottled it, top at Christmas. This is just a running theme with this club, that we are just a complete bottle job.
Yeah, Yeah, but this time, Sid, if it does go south, there is definitely, you would say, only one person to blame, right? Because we know there's somebody wanting to buy the football club, or we've been led to believe there certainly is somebody wanting to buy.
Two bids, remember?
2 bids, yeah.
There's always going to be that one person to blame, though. He's been the blame for everything the past, probably since that playoff season, if not longer. The club's just been in a slow decline. We had that one blip where we made the playoffs that year. We all know how that went. And it's just gone further south since then.
With Evans here, all it'll be next season is free transfers, loans, Bosmans and all that. You can't keep surviving every season if you expect to go up on frees and loans.
No. Well, the only way the only place you can expect to go is where we've got to, and that's progressively worse. And Curtis Yates here, Rob. To be fair, the club stance has ever changed. We want to know what's going on. Well, as far as the club is concerned, we've never had an offer and nothing has changed. Relax, and if it happens, then enjoy. Would that be the same football club, Rob, that Lee O'Neill is still searching for a manager for?
Yeah, it would be. To be honest, I can sympathise with what you're saying because. I mean, the club have never said anything that is happening, have they? They've denied it. They've gone round the point. They've jumped over the hurdles, but they've never said it's happening. And in some ways, he's right because whatever happens with that takeover isn't going to affect what happens on the pitch this season. This season is in the hands of those players, that management team that are there now, and that's that. We're not going to bring in anyone. They could come in and invest 200 billion. We're still going to finish the season with this squad. So what happens this season is completely irrelevant to the takeover between now and May. So in some ways I can see what you're saying because at the end of the day, what all this has proved, all this Twitter going backwards and forwards, the Athletic and everything, what has proved is nothing because it hasn't happened. So we've all got worked up for not much really. All got dressed up with nowhere to go.
I disagree. I don't know. I think you underplay the public narrative.
If it was going to happen in February, if it was going to happen in March, it would have happened in February. It would have happened in March. If it happens, it's obviously going to be a long drawn out process, I think. We've all jumped the gun a bit because we all wanted to hear it. We're all desperate to hear it, which I get. But
every news story, Mark, has to come from somewhere, right? So where has the stall news story come? Someone's told somebody about something stalling for it to even reach the site it reached, right? So who's trying to feel out who?
Well, at the end of the day, there is, there's no sign about fire, is there? So, you just hope that, someone's got it wrong or whatever else. Really, something's going on behind the scenes. And I think it will be down to price. It's always down to price when it comes to things like this. There, the Evans is asking for more, or, the new prospective owners have kind of sat there and said, right, we're only going to pay this much. But either way, there's still a deal to be made on that table, and negotiations still happen. It's not dead in the water. So, if Evans is serious about the club and its future, he needs to really consider these offers. And it might not be his ideal value, but he needs to think of the club. That's the main thing here.
All right,
Stuart, I would say, just to add to that, sorry, it was gone, Martin. I was just going to say, I think the longer he leaves it, the less the value is going to get because we're 1 season, sorry, 2 seasons in League One now, 3 seasons, 4 seasons. The value is going to drop and drop. The best deal he's going to get for the club is tomorrow. After tomorrow, it gets worse. The next day, worse, and so on.
Stephen, you said this club's not worth £50 million in the Championship. Is that right?
Yeah. Derby's accepted a £50 million bid, and if you think we've got more assets than Derby, someone's on cloud nine. Someone, we are not worth 50 million. We have no assets that we could say are worth 50 million.
With all due respect, somebody's paying between 20 and 30, so reports will have you believe, for a League One side.
Most of that's for the brand and for the expectation. It has to have some value to it, and everyone's not 100% sure on what the value is. Like I said, the Athletic said it was at 18 million. All I'm going off is, Derby accepted 50. Yeah. Are we worth more than Derby? I would say no. Yeah. Just on players alone, we are not worth more than Derby. And they're in the Championship, and we are not. So even if we got to the Championship, on players alone, they've got much more value in their players than we have. So by definition, we can't be worth more than them.
Tux, what do you think?
Well, I mean, for a start, we're in a different league, and he did say that, to be fair. But you can't really compare it. But considering, as you say, that 30 million for a League One club, that's bad. Stacked in history. It's just, is there a plan there? And for me, at the moment, Evans has got one. But if an owner comes in for the right price and has a plan in place, let him have it. Why are you standing in his way? Why are you standing in the club's way? Why?
Because of the Queen's note, I suppose. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not part of the negotiation table, Rob. But Stephen says there about Derby. Are we a good comparison with Derby? Because both have got a bit of history in English football, but we've probably got. Well, I don't know. Are we just as big, if not bigger, than Derby? I'm getting Kate Riley'd.
Who are we going to?
You!
Me?
Yes.
Oh, you cut out there. Fortunately, I heard what you said, but you're going to have to repeat it again because I was shutting the door at the time.
Stephen, Derby, 50 million quid. Is he right in saying we're not as big as Derby?
Well, yes.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean,
all right, let's break it down.
Who did Derby buy? Who did we sell one of our best players to a couple of years ago?
You're confusing how much money the ownership wants to spend on its players with the size of a football club. Who's got the better academy, Mark? Derby or Ipswich?
Ipswich, I'd say. But I mean, look at it it depends how big a club is, right? So what are you defining that as?
Exactly.
Because you look at someone like Sunderland, they're bigger than Derby without a shadow of a doubt. They might be in League One, but they're bigger than Derby. They've got a better stadium. They've got a better fan base. That fan base at Sunderland is massive. All they think about is football. Live, breathe, and eat it. Right? Derby don't. Ipswich don't really, to a certain extent. So the biggest club in this division at the moment is Sunderland by an absolute country mile. So define what you mean by being a bigger club.
Well, exactly. That's an argument everybody has. I understand at the end of the day that people turn around and say that we're a big club, and we are a big club. We shouldn't be in this league, But a club is only worth as much as someone's going to pay for it. Yeah, Mel Morris wants out of Derby, so he accepted 50. Would he want more? Probably. Yeah, but that's the best he's going to get. Yeah. Will we get anywhere near 50? I don't think we will. I don't think anyone wants to pay anywhere near 50 for us. And that's just my opinion. I might be wrong, but I'm quite happy to.
No, I think you're right. And that's why when we were in the Championship, Sid, there maybe wasn't as many, if any, potential bids coming in to take a football club off Marcus Evans' hands, because you are paying. It's all about entry point. Championship, you're closer to the Premier League. You're closer to your already maximum value, aren't you?
You've already got that higher value if you're in a higher league. So I think personally, the 30 million that's getting banded about, I think he's lucky to get that, to be honest.
That's a good price, though.
Yeah.
That's a good price. I don't think you'll get much more than that in the Championship, because you've got to remember, what we'll gain monetarily, we'll lose by player contracts going up, because they had 50%, a lot of them had 50% player contract reductions going down to League One. We go back to Championship, they go back to normal wages again. So, what we gain in TV money, we'll lose in that. So we don't actually gain anything monetarily. But I must just say one thing.
Oh, sorry.
I must say one thing, yeah. I actually found this quite a release, because for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been just constantly glued to Twitter and TWTD. And it's now I don't have to. I can focus on the club and where we get to. What will be, will be. We have no control over that. Do I want Marcus Evans gone? In a heartbeat? Yeah. And I still think he'll go. But I can focus on my club and not worry about all this background noise.
Yeah, but to me, Stephen, this is the biggest focus your club will ever have, because every time I think of a future past this consortium, past Marcus Evans, I don't want to think about it, because it's bleak, it's dark, it's horrible. It's Ollie Hawkins, Aaron Drinnan, 35-year-old Cole Skuse. It's not the club I want my son to grow up watching, because it's not going to be the club that I grew up watching.
It's
so
not
this is the biggest thing to happen in a generation, in any of ours.
It's not the club I want, but I have trust. I have faith in Paul Cook. Yeah, I don't think he. I think he could do
Sir
more.
Alex in there, Stephen. With Marcus Evans, you could get God himself in there. It ain't
I
going to make a
agree.
blind bit of bloody difference.
I agree.
Guardiola there wouldn't make a difference.
All I'm
style
saying
of play.
all I'm saying is, yeah, this is not for us. We can't make this choice. If it was our decision, it'd be gone now. It's not our choice. It's his choice, and it's their choice. If they've pulled out, then again, there's nothing we can do about it. But we've still got to support the club. We can complain about Evans till, and that's why I sent that tweet out earlier. You know, at the end of the day, if this does not happen, let's make Marcus Evans perfectly clear. He isn't wanted. Yeah, we've got a manager. Let's back the manager. And if things start to go pear-shaped, let's let the person know who is at fault, and it's not Paul.
All right, Stephen. George, I thank you very much. Mike, back the manager. I think it's though, Mike, before I say that, I've backed Paul Jewell, I've backed Roy Keane, I've backed Mick McCarthy into the point where I couldn't. I've backed Hoyer Hurst. I've still got the Lambert poster. How many times do I have to back a manager, Mike, before I just want to scream into a pillow?
Oh, I thought long and hard about this, and do you know what? Seriously, if it's all very well people saying, you know, we've got to concentrate on the league, we've got to concentrate on this, we've got to concentrate on that. What's the point? We've spent the last probably ever since Evans has sort of gave Roy Keane a bit of money or whatever, but we've gone to Poundland and looked in their bargain bucket for players. Yeah, I trust Marcus Evans as much as I do Gary Glitter to babysit my kids.
Mike.
But, you know, and I'm sorry, but that is basically where Evans is, right? Evans has been nothing but a virus to this club. You know,
Mike, I can't have that, Mike. That we do not endorse those comments on this platform at all. Mark, take over while Mike calms down. Come back at him now.
Yeah. It's I think, to be honest with you, I think everyone's a little bit on tender hooks at the moment because, you know, there's, as you say before, right at the start of the show, there's two camps now, isn't there? There's people that are kind of saying, you know, is it happening or is it not? But there does need to be a takeover to happen. And, you know, your point about managers, Martin, you know, you could have Guardiola in there, you could have Mourinho, you could have whoever you like in there. They're still not going to do as well, I don't think, with Evans there because he doesn't invest, does he? He does not invest in this club. And I probably sound like a broken record, but we need a plan and we need investment.
Tell me which manager, Robbie D, gets...
record.
Tell me which manager gets 20 goals out of both of these.
No one.
Combined? Is that career goals or
lifetime goals?
The simple fact is, yeah, I believe everything you lot have just said. He hasn't got a plan. He needs to go. We need a new man in. You know, all of those things. Yeah, but we still have a club, and we still got a support club. Yeah, whatever happens will happen. I hope and I pray Marcus Evans goes. Yeah, and we can get a new team in with a new plan and razzmatazz. Yeah, but like I said, I've been a supporter since 1975. I'm not going anywhere till I'm in a box. Yeah, and I'm going to have to still support next year, whether I like it or not. So I've got to have faith that Paul Cook can do something because if I lose faith, what else have I got?
Yeah. Okay, Steve, as always, I appreciate it. Ashley, Anthony, you're coming in very soon. Mike, back to you. You said something earlier. Mike Baker here. Backing the manager means putting pounds in Evans's pocket. And that don't sit well with Mike. How does it sit well with you? Well, we ain't lost yours. Don't worry. All right, I'll bring Anthony in. Anthony, answer Mike Baker here because he says backing the manager means putting pounds in Marcus Evans's pocket, and he can't do it. Can you do it?
I'll have a look at my bank, see how much I've got. Oh God, you know, I think the best that we were going to get under Evans was during mixed time, and you mentioned that Brentford game, Boxing Day. You know, that was the peak of Evans. I think his reign, this club. You know, Paul Cook's. I think he'll try his best, but you know, it's not we're in League One now, aren't we? So the best he's going to get potentially is getting us out of this league. I mean, silver lining. Got to think back to that Northampton game. I keep thinking back to that moment. I think we were 12th. It was terrible, wasn't it? And then the next few weeks, things just got better and better. And look where we are now. We're still talking about a takeover. It's talk of automatic. So I try and get the silver lining out of it, because as Stephen said, there's nothing we can do.
No, makes some good points there, Stephen.
So I think something is going on, because, like you said, there's no smoke without fire. We live in a time where leaks are constant. You see it all the time. Leaks are constant. I think, Marcus is probably just trying to recoup some of his losses. To be honest, that's what I think he's trying to do. He's holding out.
Yeah. If this all goes pear shaped and Marcus is still in charge, will you be buying a season ticket again next year?
I will. Yeah. So I had mine up until the point the season was cut off. So I decided.
So what will you do if we go to the playoff final, Anthony?
Be watching it. Be watching it on telly, won't I?
If you're watching Talking Town. Sid, will you be buying a season ticket next year if Marcus is still the owner?
I will, for the simple reason of we've all been without football for getting on for a year now. Everyone's going to rush back. I think everyone can say, "Oh, I'm not going to get a ticket. I'm not going to get one," but I think they will, because we've been without the one thing that we've loved for over a year now.
Tux, about yourself?
I haven't had a season ticket since I think it was the last season of Mick McCarthy. I think it's got progressively worse since then. So I probably need to go back and get a season ticket, really, don't I? But I don't know. I think ultimately that's all. If Marcus Evans is here, that's all he's bothered about, his season ticket sales. And really, you know what's going to happen towards the end of the season. He's going to come out. He's going to make some noise about the future of the club and everything else if he's still here, because he wants those season tickets. He'll make sort of like false promises and stuff like that. He always does it every season, But I will say that if he does stay, that Paul Cook is probably the best manager out there that we could have got at this time, but he needs to be backed. Will he get backed by Marcus Evans? I don't think so, but he's the type of manager that needs to be backed, because you look at the squad now, there's so many players that are out of contract, coming to the end of their contract. The players like Chambers and Skuse, great servants to this club, but I think their time has probably come. And there needs to be an overhaul, and that needs it's come as a good time, because Paul Cook can then go out and get his own players and make that summer his own, essentially. But yeah,
I won't ask Rob because I know the answer to Rob. Fisherman, welcome back. Hopefully you've sorted your tech problems out.
Yeah, I'm just a bit tired. Sorry if people thought my comments were a bit, whatever, but I've had some good support on them. But at the end of the day, I just getting so fed up with Marcus Evans and his pathetic running of this club. As I said earlier, we're not just buying Poundland players, we're going in the bargain bucket in Poundland players, right? When you're buying players like Hawkins, and there's all very well people saying Paul Cook will do this, Paul Cook will do that. He's working with bargain bucket crap. And we've got 16, 17 players that are out of contract this season, who, quite frankly, I should imagine most of us would probably want to get rid of. If Evans stays, where's this investment coming? Because it ain't coming. He hasn't invested in 13 years, properly. In fact, most of the money that Marcus has invested in the club is to put £100 million plus debt on us. Mm-hmm. And then you start adding the how much he's sold, how many players we've sold. I did it a while back, didn't I? So I came on a show a while back and said, look, this is how much we've spent buying in our own players, and this is how much he's sold. And it worked out he'd sold more, he'd made more money than he'd spent on buying our own players. So that means the rest of the money that he's invested has gone on loanees, freebies, and utter rubbish. Like I said, we win the playoffs.
Giles Coke.
You know, yeah, absolutely. You know, we were in the playoffs. We needed investment. Mick needed investment. I think we could have won. I could think we could have finished second that season. But the reality was, we were
got Richard Chaplow. No disrespect to Chaplow, but it was. Come on.
Yeah. You know, the reality is if Evan stays at this club, right, we can forget.
Don't knock Tabby.
Honestly, if someone like Derby has been taken over, or you know, and they're looking for a new manager at the end of this season, and they say Paul Cook and Evan's still at this club, I'd be the Derby owner. I'd say, right, go and get me Paul Cook, because we can give him X, Y, and Z amounts of money, and he will do well for this club.
Yeah,
absolutely. I thought, do you know what? Like we all did, we're going to get taken over. But this today is like one massive kick in the bollocks. And I think that Marcus Evans is just, I say it as it is, always will do. You know, until we
love you.
His club, we might as well, you know, Ipswich is like a vein with a cut. And we're just leaking and leaking and leaking. And before we know it, it'll end up in League Two.
Mike Baker said earlier that he won't be putting any of his own personal money into the club while Evans is still the owner. How do you feel on that?
No, absolutely not. Not a penny. He's not. I've said that on Twitter earlier. While Evans owns his club, I'm not putting a penny into it. I've had enough of him. You know, he's taken far too much out of this club. He's taken the heart and soul out of it. He's taken fans for a ride. He's taken fans for complete mugs. Does he think we're not stupid? Do you think we are stupid as fans that we don't realise what he's really doing and what he's done behind the scenes? You know, you've got these nice little snowflake fans who seem to think he's a God's saviour for our club. Utter rubbish. You know, oh my God, I'm so fed up tonight. When I saw that, I was like, are you kidding me? You know?
You're getting a lot of love. You're getting a lot of love in the chat. I will give you that. Anthony, you heard Mike's comments there. You feel his passion. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd love to say I would go back, but I think so many of us are just going to go back. But for a guy, so Evans is, 100 million of just the number we'll throw around, isn't it, that he's invested into our club. You know, if you've put that much into it, or a few people not going back the next season, is he bothered? Probably not, because a few of those would get replaced by someone else would decide to go. So I gave up my season ticket and I'm planning to get another one next season because I'm hopeful that things will change and I want to see the town again. You know, he's invested so much. I don't think the season ticket, if the numbers drop a bit, I don't think he's that bothered. I feel like he wants another go at success with our club. That's how it feels. He sees our owners' success and he wants another go.
Yeah, in a way though, Tux, doesn't that make it more like desperately sad as a town fan? It's what I'm saying earlier, that yes, you can't help but go back because you love the football club, but you can't help but also know you're in this circle, this spin of doom where I love it, so I'll keep going, but it's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, you know, supporting a club is an addiction, isn't it? It's like a drug, I suppose. But at the same time, you know, supporting a football club is not all about the good times. You know, I know so many fans that sit in their armchair and support United, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, and all that lot. But you know, there's nothing quite like going to your own football club, your local football club, going to the matches, supporting the club, even, you know, through thick and thin. And obviously with Ipswich, it's been more, you know, doom and gloom than it has ever been happy times, especially in, you know, the time that I supported the club. But you know, you just keep going, don't you? You know, whoever's at the head of our club, whoever's the manager of our club, whatever league we're in, you support that club till the day you die.
You can support the club without supporting the regime.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Makes it difficult.
For Ipswich, I've never wavered. I've never thought, you know, I'm fed up and I'm not going to support. There's been times where I haven't gone to a few years where I haven't gone to the games and stuff. But you know, there's always been a time where, you know, I've never wavered. I've never decided, right, I'm going to start supporting. I don't know. I was always supporting like little sort of non-league sides, but I've never wavered from Ipswich Town since I was 4 years old in my first Ipswich kit, where my mum's got a photograph of. Well, I've got it now, but you know, and I've never wavered from it. Have I always supported the regime? I didn't like sometimes the way Sheepshanks ran things, but there was always some sort of hope with him. But with Evans, I think the only hope we had was the first year, and that died a death within a year. And then you could just see anybody with half a brain could look at the situation and think, actually, under Evans, we are not going nowhere. You know, I felt when Mick McCarthy came in, there was a chance we could get promoted, and we nearly did, but he just didn't get the investment, and that has been the problem. Marcus Evans has, you know, his 5-point plans are just pathetic. They're just, you know, it's like me saying, "Yeah, lad, it's £1 million. I ain't got it, but you know, here's £1 million anyway."
I think what sums this up right with Marcus Evans is you've got to remember this is a guy who did not have a face until probably about 3 or 4 years ago, right? He didn't, did he? He did not have a face. Nobody knew who he was apart from probably the people within the club, right? Nobody knew who he was. So what does that say about the man, right? He doesn't want to take responsibility of how this club has fallen. You know, it only says a few weeks ago when he put a statement out and he was essentially blaming the fans because he didn't think that he needed to make a change because of what happened with Mick McCarthy. Like, how stubborn do you have to be? How stupid do you have to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely spot on. I mean, like you say, you know, it begs the question, I think everybody agree here, why did he buy the club in the first place?
Well, yeah, this is it. We could get into that. That is his own.
For me, that's obvious. That's the most obvious thing. He did whatever the new owner of Derby is going to try and do the same thing as Marcus Evans wanted to do. Invest a bit of money, get to the Premier League with investment, but as little as possible, and then double, treble your money by staying there. Job done. That's what every owner's trying to do. If we're in the Championship, we're a better prospect to buy because we're closer to the Premier League, and you've got to invest less to get
The trouble is, though, as a football owner, you don't go and buy a club to go and make money. Do you? He never says this. You don't go and buy a club to make money. You know that you're going to make a loss out of it. You buy a club because you're passionate about the club, and the fact that he couldn't show his face up until 3 years ago says a lot.
Yeah, well, this is it. All right, so to move it on, because obviously it's 47 minutes we've devoted to it, and who knows, Mike, what does your gut tell you? Is it happening or is it not happening?
I said 3 days ago, it's all hype, and at the moment, I just can't see it happening. I said it. There's too much. There's not enough happening. There's not normally with any sale stuff like that. I mean, when Marcus Evans bought the club, it was all over. It was it was a couple of weeks. It was talked about, and then suddenly it was sold. With this, there's just nothing but hype and rumours and nothing else. I just can't see it happening. And I think, no. So,
all right, Mike, as always, we love you, man. We love you. Anthony, but before you say that, Mike says there with the Sheepshanks and Evans deal, different. All I will say is that is different landscape. Social media wasn't as prevalent, if I can remember rightly, back then. You couldn't leak, like these days, for example, someone farts and someone 400 miles away knows about it. So there you go. But Anthony, what's your gut tell you?
I think yes. I don't know if that's my heart or my gut, to be honest. But yeah, I think he will sell the club. Whether it's in the next few weeks or the end of the season or in a few seasons' time, I don't know. It will go soon, though. But, when? That's the question, isn't it? When? That day will come.
Think fast. Are we going up? Are we going up or not?
Yeah, playoffs.
Good man, Anthony. Appreciate it. Callie, welcome in. So we'll shift the focus a little bit to the next 15 and tomorrow night. So Callie, you can, as you just joined us, you can kick us sort of off. What do you think we're going to be getting out of the next last remaining run of games? Do you think we're going to get the consistency we need towards a promotion push, or do you think we're going to fall a little bit short?
I think we'll get the promotion push. We'll cement playoffs. League is bad. We've got an outside chance of making top 2. I know it sounds crazy, but people are dropping points all around us. The only worry for us is we can't take too many points from the people above us. I think we've only got Portsmouth above us now to play.
Correct.
Everyone else is below us. But as we've seen on the weekend, as we saw ourselves against Gillingham, people are picking points of people. I think Paul Cook's instilled some sort of belief into the players anyway. And also, let's not forget the mental block that the players had with the top 10 teams not being able to beat them and then rolling over 2 in consecutive games, right? So there's that mental block where they've got. I think the players have come about and mentally they're in a better place under Paul Cook. I honestly, before, if I was saying playoffs, I was like, well, there's no point even making playoffs because we'll bottle it. But even if we ended up in the top 6 and we ended up in the playoffs, I think we could go on and get to Wembley. But it's my heart that says, yeah, we're going to make top 2. But realistically, yeah, will be playoffs, and I have every faith under Paul Cook and the squad that we'll make the final and we'll go up this season. Okay, Sid. Kate yesterday called it momentum, and we need that to end the season with. Do you think these next 14 games we can grab that? We've only got Portsmouth who are above us, so really it's in our hands, right?
I think we'll do it. I think we've got a good run of games in. Like you say, we've only got Portsmouth left to play above us. I can't see us losing too many games, put it that way.
But then you say that, and then we all probably would have had Gillingham as a nailed on 3 points, and when we did our sort of March fixtures, and yet this league is bonkers, Mark. It's, as McCarthy would call it, absolute bonkers.
Yeah, at the end of the day, no one beat anyone. So, the thing with the bigger clubs is that when you get the sort of the littler sides, if you like, no disrespect, but they're up for it, aren't they? They want to play the Ipswich, they want to play the Sunderland, they want to play the Portsmouth, so they're going to up their game a little bit more. But I think will we go up the end of the season? I don't know. I mean, will we get playoffs? I think we'll just about get playoffs potentially. We might get 6th, but it's so tight around there, and because there's so many teams that can beat anyone. It's difficult. It's no one's running away with this league either. I back Sunderland to go on and win it now because I think they've got that momentum, especially after yesterday's cup victory. But other than that, no one wants to just take the league by the horns, do they? And just go on and win it. There's so much like inconsistency in this league.
Inconsistent in the team league is Burton, isn't it?
Yeah, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank has absolutely revitalised Burton. It's crazy. Mark Bliss, we are a poor footballing side, though, and a couple of big injuries away from collapsing again. Rob, 14 games. Portsmouth, the only big hitters you'd say on that list. It's classic town collapse time, isn't it?
No, for me, I've got us down to, is it 13 now, isn't it? I thought
it was 14, but my maths has never been good, that.
Anyway, I had us down for like 9 or 10 wins, couple of draws, couple of defeats. The defeats being Charlton and Portsmouth. I think the rest of them are poor, really poor. I know that we're poor as well, but I think we can beat all of them, honestly. The Rochdales, the Bristol Rovers, the whoever. I can't even think who else on the list. As long as we're not playing Burton, I think we can beat all of them. And honestly, I think I back us to get to like 80-odd points. And I think that Paul Cook can get us up for big games, 6-pointers, unlike Lambert in his 2.5 years in charge. There's one for you, Martin. I just think that he's got a poor team, limited resources, but the league is poor and we're in the top bunch of it. And with that manager, I think he's good enough to get the best out of that team, and that might well be good enough to get us promoted. And then we'll get crucified in the championship. I'd
love that because I had 49 points for my second half of the campaign points return. So 85 would put us right on course. Callie, go on.
No, I was just saying, we got to remember as well, how long's Cook been here? Right, Matt Gill got those wins under the lads. Got 3 games out of them. Matt Gill did. Right, you can shake your head all you want, Martin. That was not Paul Lambert. Paul Lambert's last game was Northampton. That was Paul Lambert's official last game. Right, so Paul Cook is his philosophies or tactics, way of playing. He wants the players to be brave. And if you look, we're on the touchlines all the time. We're spreading the play across. So we're end to end. Fitness level seems to be slightly improved, I thought, especially against the Lincoln game the other day. More and more games coming up. Cook's kind of philosophy is getting stamped on the team. We're only going to get better. You have to believe, man. And this is all we wanted. I know you've discussed it already. I'm just going to say briefly, but this whole takeover stuff. 6 weeks ago, all everyone wanted was Paul Lambert gone. No one even knew about takeover. Paul Lambert's gone, so let's focus on that. Takeover happens or not, it doesn't matter. Can't change our season now. Let's just go with what we got. And I think we'll go up. I think we'll go up.
And then what? Okay, so takeover doesn't go through. Then what? Giles Coke re-emerges. What?
Listen,
what? What happens then?
Well, didn't Paul Cook have a good Wigan team, and it was down to the administrators and the people running the club that let him down, i.e. with the point deduction. Mm-hmm. He didn't have an expensive squad that he put together. We still have sellable assets, which maybe Paul Cook won't see in his... Yeah, we do. Look, you don't think you'll get 600-700k for Caden Jackson?
I think he might get it, but what's that going to buy in today's football? A right foot or somebody?
But this is...
Well, buy you Caden Jackson, mate.
But he's got a point though, right? He's selling Caden Jackson to get a Caden Jackson.
We just got to have the belief, right? Now, I don't believe anything Evan says. I think the whole thing with this takeover, I think that's the leak and the story and the stalled and all that. That's all because of that's business, right? He's trying to play bluff with him or whatever. He's saying, look, there's no done deal or whatever. This is the statement. It wouldn't surprise me if Marcus Evans has leaked the story about it being stalled. Right, it's just business, right? And we're, a lot of the Ipswich fans and mugs getting involved with it, saying, "Oh shit, it's all over." Fuck's sake, Paul Cook's in, back the team. Team will get better. We'll go up, and I have faith. Look, the teams up there in the championship as well. The top 10, yeah, absolutely. We won't make that, and the top 10 teams are, way out of reach for us. But I think we could beat a couple of those teams. Come on, Wickham are up there, Coventry up there. And if we played the same, if we played Coventry, yeah. And the thing is, we've taken points of people before. These types of teams, we could. There's no reason we couldn't stay up there. I'm not saying our ambitions normally were playoffs or top 10 or whatever, but if we go up under Evans, yeah, our ambitions has to be just survival. It'll be like how Burton were or Rotherham or whatever. But you gotta have faith, man. What else do you want? Do you want to stay in League One forever? Is that because what is the alternative? We're all saying, well, if we go up, then we get relegated. Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to have a season in the Championship, or do we just stay in League One forever?
You can't. I can't sit here. Thing is, I can't do a podcast, and I can't be a Town fan for 13 years under Marcus Evans, and every day of that existence say, I want this man out of my football club, and then once the moment comes, I could possibly use my voice to say, get out of my football club. Go, oh well, Paul Cook's arrived, let's back Paul Cook and let's hope for the best. Like, that goes against everything I've done for the last 13 years. Rob will tell you, I've never wanted Marcus Evans as our owner.
I don't want Marcus Evans as our owner at all either, right? I'm still doing the I don't follow. I'm still paying for the away teams. I said until the takeover's there, I'm not putting money in his pocket. Simple as, right? I don't like Evans either, but the reality is he is the owner of the football club that I love. Simple.
Yeah. But you say about going up, I don't care if we go up or down with Evans. Like, stay in League One, go to Champions. It's all absolutely irrelevant. We're sitting 6th by the skin of our teeth when we should have been absolutely treating this as a League One pit stop, Mark. We should have come down here, not really cut the cloth accordingly, and just said, look, don't get used to it, lads, because we're not staying here for long. But you want to go tough. You're under a contract. We're going straight back up. Like, mean business. Don't just talk about it. Do it. And we never do it at Ipswich Town Football Club.
No, there's not enough winning mentality, I don't think, in the club. And under Lambert, I don't think there was either. Yes, you can say that he played for bloody Dortmund and Celtic, and pressure doesn't get to him or some bollocks. But
never mentioned it.
No, he didn't. But it's one of these sort of things where it's if he knew if he had all of that, really, he'd know how to get this club out of the league, right? And I think Paul Cook's got a bit of that. I think he knows how to get this club out of the league, but he's got to have time. But he's also got to have the funds and the support there as well. And that's something that obviously Evans isn't going to really give him, I don't think, in the time that he's going to be here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm so slow, Callie, in trying to get Lambert out because I didn't want to be on this merry-go-round again. Like, I'm just desperate for a manager to strike it lucky. Because until this takeover was potentially going to happen, that's all we had, just luck and a wing and a prayer.
Cook's the only manager, I think, that we've taken on that has, in his recent history, been successful. Every other manager we've taken on has been a has-been. Or when Lambert come, he had a failure at Villa, Wolves, and Stoke. Stoke had the worst thing in their club history, right? Mick McCarthy, when he come over to us, and he was probably our best manager under Evans, and I hate the bloke, right? But he didn't do anything for about 3 or 4 years, I think it was.
Yeah. Right.
Same with Roy Keane. So it's just like we've bought someone, and his stock is high. Paul Jewell is shit, mate. Come on.
Yeah, but Rob,
Paul Jewell is blankety blank.
Callie says he's got a great point there, Callie. But surely I'm no bookie. But at some point, the odds of one of those managers striking it lucky again, the way they have done before many times in their CV, is higher than them getting it wrong. So something fundamentally wasn't supporting them at this football club.
But who struck lucky?
Always comes down to the same. It's the one common denominator, isn't it? Marcus Evans is always there behind it all. We were all hammering Mick about his style of play.
Yeah.
Charlie Adam.
I mean,
not Charlie Adam.
it's just, yeah, you know, all the managers have made mistakes. None of them are innocent, but they're not the root of the problem. And I hate to think, like, if we don't go up under Paul Cook sooner rather than later, we're going to end up rinse and repeat. Someone said, and it's true. Which in some ways is more important why we actually go up this season, because otherwise Paul Cook just becomes the next head on the block in a year or 18 months' time, doesn't he?
Yeah, but Paul Cook, I feel, has got enough to get out of our current squad, right, to get us out of this league, right? Our current squad with Paul Cook gets us out of the league. Hopefully this year, definitely next year. If we're in it next year, I'm backing us top 2, guaranteed, right? But then you just coming to your point. Coming to your point about the other managers, they're going to have a hot streak. Which one of those managers that we've appointed and then sacked has gone on to do a hot streak? Mick McCarthy went to Cyprus. Okay, his best part is now, right? A couple of games at Cardiff. Roy Keane didn't go back into management, right? Well, he might go to Celtic soon. Paul Jewell, I don't know what he did after. Paul Hurst. Paul Hurst, where's he? Gillingham, innit? Or no, not Gillingham.
He was that way.
Yeah,
Grimsby.
Grimsby, that's the one. Grimsby. So there's no one that's like we've appointed bad managers, with the exception of Mick, who knows how to manage it on a budget, and I'll give him that. But we have appointed bad managers, and that comes down to Marcus Evans, right? This is the first thing, and maybe that's the telltale sign that this takeover is close, because this is actually a good managerial appointment, right? I think
Martin, that we're sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, when we were talking about, Lambert out last year, the names being floated around were like the Cowleys, Cook, and a few others.
Neil Harris,
as well.
Mo Harris.
But yeah, so like this was like for me, this was the first time under Evans I thought actually we've got a good appointment.
Yeah, I agree.
The thing is, you have to remember McCarthy when he first came in was a fixer, because we were going down that season 100% if he hadn't come in. So actually, he came in to fix
us. Why were
we
going down? Because he gave Paul Jewell absolutely
no
money.
I know why, but you could say that Mick McCarthy wasn't brought in to get us challenging. He was brought in to get us to survive.
He was there to steady the ship.
Okay, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Fleetwood tomorrow night. Let's quickly review that as we round up. Mark, kick us off. Fleetwood tomorrow night. Are you expecting many, if any, changes? Obviously, Flynn Downs will probably be the one forced. And are we going to win?
Well, I think we now know that Paul Cook isn't going to be one like Lambert to sort of chop and change just for the sake of it. He might do it based on fitness, but really, if you're winning games, you keep the shirt, and you build that consistency throughout the team. And yeah, it's probably going to be Downs, but yeah, whoever comes in, they need to state their claim and they need to actually perform. Otherwise, they're out of the team. But I'll go back to the fact that if you win games, you keep shirt. I think tomorrow, Joey Barton's obviously gone from Fleetwood, but I still think they're a good side. They'll make it difficult for us, but I don't know. I think maybe another one in me.
Yeah, Rob, if they win, they'll be fancying their chances themselves for a playoff push, because they're not a million miles away from us. So it's going to be a tough game, right?
Well, the thing is that we don't score enough goals for me, and you without Norwood, which I think decreases the chances again another however many percent. So I don't think, I've said for quite a while, I don't think we're wide open at the back. We got done by some real rookie mistakes at Gillingham. We never could handle them. There was some calamity defending in there as well, goalkeeping and everything. But I think generally we're solid at the back. You see the record of the team with Wilson in there is 3 defeats in, I don't know, is it 18 or something like that? I'm not sure exactly.
Okay.
So I think it'll be a tight game, but I think we'll win 1-0. I think there's one goal in it, and we'll nick it.
Callie, a man you've been calling for since October, apparently, although no one actually remembers you ever doing it. Cole Skuse might get a start.
I was calling for him before we had Kate on the show and Crunch did his 180. He did a quicker spin than I'd seen on the cricket, man.
He was
started the show off.
Nolan.
Scuse out. Kate Riley, I like Skuse. Crunch. Oh yeah, Skuse in.
It was like Torben and Dean, wasn't it, on the ice? That he was pirouetting round and round quicker than he can say Bob's an uncle. I completely agree with you. Yeah, I was left right on my own yesterday. There I was, digging my heels in. But yeah, so a man you've been calling for apparently since October makes Cole Lazarus returns.
he's not fit enough to do a 90. I don't think. As much as I would
Never
have
has been.
him. I'd have him start instead of obviously because Downs is out. But I'd have. I think you'll see Bish and Dazelle start and Skuse to come on same sort of time as before. Steady the ship. I think we'll get an early goal like we did on the weekend. We'll start off well. Don't worry about Norwood. We've got Parrott, mate. That's all we need now. Troy Parrott.
Sid. Adam Flat says Crunch combed his hair especially for Kate Riley yesterday.
Forgot the
different cream out.
Absolutely. Harry says Martin, Matt Slater seems confident. Harry, I seem confident. I'm confident, man. I just play cool. Play it cool. Crunch, yes. Watch long incoming tomorrow night, guys. Don't forget 7:15. We kick off with Mr. Positivity Neil Moles, the aficionado Stephen Thompson, and then we've got the watch long. As many of you are welcome to join us live on the show. Callie is one for a live reaction. He does love a good. Oh no! Oh
yeah. So we'll have to sync up because last time the Lincoln one I kind of gave.
Yeah, you ruined it. You ruined it. Sid, tomorrow Fleetwood. Obviously, Joe Barton, as Mark mentioned, has gone from there now, but they're still a team on the rise. Are you expecting an easy 3 points or a tough 3 points? Or what are you expecting?
There's no easy games in this league. Anyone can beat anyone, obviously, but I think Parrott, for me, seems to be sort of growing in confidence more and more with each game. I think there is a player in there, and it's starting to show now, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So, would you sign him next year, regardless of what league you're in? If you had the opportunity to, would you sign Troy Parrott, Sid?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. He's a player I'll be honest, I didn't rate coming in. I said so as much on the transfer show we did when he was signed. But Mark, he has really impressed me. I'm doing a cruncher 180 on him here. I'm literally all in on him, I think.
Not as quick. Yeah, I've heard good things about him actually. From because obviously, with Tottenham coming through their youth setup, he scored quite a few goals. I think he had his loan spell at Millwall. I think didn't do too well there, or didn't really get enough games. But for me, every time I've seen him play, he's got that work ethic, but he's also quick. He's not afraid to just shoot on sight and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think he's the player, and I think he's obviously keen to impress. But yeah, I'd sign him again. Yeah,
absolutely right. So we're all going to go for a win, are we? Is that what I picked up on that? We're all going for a town win.
Yep.
Oh, I'm getting Northampton vibes here. I hope it's not. Anyway, Callie, thanks ever so much, my man. Look after yourself. Sid, your debut is in the books. You've done it. You've made it to the end. You've lasted the 90. You've you won't be playing for town with that sort of fitness record. That's for sure. Rob, Tux, as always, a pleasure. We're back live tomorrow at 7:15. But until then, with love, with care, we will see you all tomorrow for the watch along. Thank you so much. And it's still going ahead. Don't worry.